this thing on? We live, guys?
Very much so.
Oh, cool. Hi, I'm Christian here at the Mike Reynolds podcast, and as you see, things look a little different today. We have a killer interview that we've saved just for this episode 7 for you. So enjoy this, and we're going to jump right in with Steven.
Well, hello.
Hello.
How are you, sir?
I'm great. How are you?
Good. Are you still clocked in?
I am clocked in.
Okay, we better hurry up because you're in overtime.
I am.
Okay. Everybody, I would like to welcome...
I don't do this stuff for free.
My dear... This is going to be tough. My dear friend, Matt Lewis, to the show.
Thanks for having me.
You're very welcome.
This is mandatory, by the way. I had to be here.
Right. Very good. Man, this is going to be this is so different because most shows have somebody that's an influencer or other things on, and I was just like, we are different. I want to do something different, and why not have my very first full-time employee on the show? So again, here you are.
Here I am.
And welcome. Shoot, Matt, do you want to tell everybody how in the world you even got here? What you were doing? How do we know each other?
So I know Steven from back when I was...
By the way, I'm right here. You can talk to me in first person.
That's true. Talking to the audience. So Steven and I met. There we go. We met back probably in 2016. No, I was 16. 2009. And yeah. So...
that was out of Dry Gulch, USA.
Dry Gulch, USA, yeah. My first job coming from... I went to a church called Lincoln Christian School, and their summer program thing was Dry Gulch, USA. It's the same thing, pretty much. Brothers, yeah.
Right.
Everybody owns.
So because you went to Lincoln Christian School, which is part of Church on the Move.
Yes.
And we're going to tap our own first for staff.
Exactly.
It may or may not have been mandatory for a lot of people. But it didn't hurt to come out.
They paid us.
They paid you. Did they pay 16-year-olds?
Yes, I believe it was 15-year-olds they didn't pay. They just got free stuff from
the
snacks and
store.
Stuff. Yeah.
So Matt was part of our ever-growing production team. It's funny just thinking about some of the people. Was Lucas Chrisman, Andy Chrisman's son, on there too that first year?
I don't think so.
Anyway, it was
definitely Sean Kurbitz.
That's right,
yeah.
Sean, who's also another employee who'll probably be on this podcast in the future.
Eventually, yeah.
But so that was 2009.
2009,
right?
Yeah, not 2016.
And I must have done something wrong because the next year, where'd you go?
I went to activities.
Yes,
I said, forget productions.
Yeah, production.
I did that for about 3 years activities. Yeah.
You did. So for a production out at Dry Gulch, USA, which is the summer camp the camp of Church on the Move. And we were responsible for setting up morning chapels, evening chapels. But during the day, we had a very interesting job requirement.
To say the least. Filling up water jugs at all the different activity locations.
And it was crazy. What's nuts is that whole water jug thing came up for discussion, I think, in 2008. So for as long as I can remember, production was responsible for filling up water jugs at all the activities for the kids throughout the entire day. So hey man, well, a couple of things. If we didn't properly fill those, we're not washing our hands as we're filling those. People could get sick.
Yeah.
They could get sick off of the if the cups were dirty, all that stuff.
Absolutely.
But also they could get sick if there was no water.
Yeah.
So talk about a little bit of a liability, but it was a big responsibility for us. I don't know if you remember this, but we almost took that off our plate in 08 or 09. And I actually, you wouldn't know that, but nope. I actually made sure. I was like, hey, I think we need this because it teaches one of the biggest lessons in the Bible about offering kids a cup of cold water.
It's true. To tell you the truth, once you made your rounds, you could do whatever you wanted.
Hey, it was kind of a free workout because this is a 5-gallon Gatorade jug full of water, and sometimes you're walking at least 50 to 75 feet with that jug. Anyway, to stay in shape, I would just do it all by myself. It's like, I don't know about you, but filling those up and all that stuff.
We did have a cart we could put him on to like drive him around, but the cart didn't go everywhere. So
yeah. So Matt, that in production, that was kind of like the first time you've ever touched anything.
Absolutely.
Well, do you remember what a lot of your responsibility was?
So a little bit backstage. I think most of it was probably CG, like just graphics and stuff like that.
That's right, Pro Presenter and whatnot.
Pro Presenter, that, and then just cleaning, a lot of cleaning stuff.
Yes, we did. This is crazy because like I felt like you learn a lot of life lessons there. As far as like all the kids would go,
yeah.
The place was a wreck, and we would have to clean it. Housekeeping didn't come in and do anything for us. And that's sweeping, mopping, vacuuming, changing out trash, all that stuff. Everything. Yeah. So like kind of in the middle of the day, just tidying it up and then getting it ready for night chapel. So the children's team from Church on the Move could come and do, their rehearsals and get ready for the night and all that stuff. Well, so then the next year, of course, you must have gotten sick and tired of me, but you got way more daylight by being in activities.
Yeah, I don't burn, but I do get dark.
Yeah, that's great. So you served in activities for a few years, and that's everything from getting the sea-doos ready to
water jugs. Still,
oh, that's right. Well, down at the water activities for the most part, right?
I think what activities actually fill them up the very first time, and then production just maintained them.
You're right.
Yeah.
You're right. There was a long time ago where we actually did the first run too. So that at least was taken off our plate. Everywhere down at the Cove, which is Lakeside, down at the water slides and all that stuff. And at the, that's right. The lifeguards were technically part of activities too. But then all of the extra stuff, activities had to get other things ready, whether
prep activities and stuff like that.
Correct.
Tell you the truth, I missed a bunch of that because that's usually when I wasn't doing activities, I would leave camp and like go see a movie or something like that. So like
nice.
When I get back, like the thing's been set up, I was like, where were you? I was like, oh, I didn't know. No one told me. So
yeah, you need a little time off every once in a while. So you graduated high school when?
2011.
And then right after that, what'd you do?
Straight after that, well, ironically, after that, I still kind of was on board with activities a bit. Did the off season, so like during off season, they had like a bunch of different types of camps out there and stuff like that. And then some small projects with actually you. We did renovation of the town hall, which is the staging area and everything.
Yeah, it was 2013. That was a big deal. No pressure. Had to get it done by like a specific timeline. We were doing a first men's event. I don't know how long. Andrew Stone was coming out and mix, and oh my word, you because this stuff wasn't on your radar at that time, but he mixed off of like this little X32 and it sounded like he had a huge, large format console. It was like a really cool event. You were a huge help. You probably crawled onto the stage.
Yeah,
quite a
lot
bit.
Of under the stage stuff.
Quite a bit. I did too, but I was like, I needed, that's the kind of like two hands, two people help with like cable pulls and all that. Goodness, but you ended up working at the church full time.
I did, yeah. So after I think it was 2013, actually. Yeah, 2013. Some of the guys back up a bit. After activities, I did set up for what they camp had for during Christmas time called Christmas Train.
That's right.
Which I actually got put on a team with a bunch of women who, so I helped out like decorating and all that kind of stuff, which was
that's right.
Terrible job.
With Tammy. I forgot about that. That's crazy.
And so
that's weeks of decorating. Yeah. That's not just like a day or two. That's like weeks.
That is several weeks of decorating.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I never actually operated a trailer before that. So they're like, oh yeah, Matt's a guy. He should know how to drive a trailer. So I was like very learning on the job.
Somebody's jackknifed in the town square.
Yeah, actually one guy did. It wasn't me, thank goodness.
That's so fun. He's like, Matt's an eligible bachelor and he can decorate the crap out of your house. Especially around Christmas time.
Yep. So Actually, your brother-in-law, John Arnold.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was part of that team for a little bit too. He helped out here and there. So,
Okay.
yeah.
He can back a trailer up for
Yeah,
like a mile and a half with no problem. That's amazing.
But yeah, and then after that, that kind of turned into a job at the church because some of that team was out there decorating. It was like, hey, like, what are you doing now? So it was like, not doing anything really. So it was like, hey, you want to come help out with activities and all that? Well, kind of not activities, but events at Church on the Move. I was like, yeah, sure, I'll do that. So got plugged in with that. I did that for a while, actually.
Oh, that was under operations. Is that what they called it? And
facilities operations, yeah.
And didn't that kind of like things do at churches? Departments shift under one department and then move under another.
I went under several different people.
So like facilities was kind of its own thing, but then operations kind of started to lean towards under Andrew.
So a little bit, yeah, but it went somewhere in between before that. So it went from facilities to actually for
they wonder why we're messed up.
Yeah, you think that like facilities, but let me tell you the job first. So it's a lot of like setting up chairs and like pulling kind of a little bit of housekeeping stuff like here and there. Weren't part of housekeeping, but still helped out.
Sure.
And
if you make the mess, you guys are gonna have to clear it up.
Still decorating. Tammy was still there.
Can't get away from it.
No. But yeah, we got pulled into a lot of decorating stuff still. Actually, at the church too for Seeds conference.
That's right.
Yeah.
A little bit of room set up for that.
A lot of late nights with that, but yeah.
So that because Seeds was I don't
remember the last one.
The last one was 2017.
Okay.
But if you back up, they skipped a few years. I know there's 2014, 13, 12, and maybe
I worked a few,
maybe 11.
I don't know how many.
Yeah. But correct. Setting up those are huge. They would sell out. 2,500 plus people would come to those, and they would take up. You're setting up the fellowship hall, and every single room turned into a classroom, more or less, whether it was the kids' rooms or whatever. Then we kind of came about to. I think it's funny if y'all been following our podcast, we've been talking all the way up to like 2017 and kind of our history, and we move into this year of 2018, and that's kind of where I'm going to cut in just for a second. So I'm still by myself. I don't know what new like having employees would look like. All I know is to create some sort of a system for as if I had employees. So for me, I treated myself as the manager, and then also as like. Hey, get your butt off that couch and go get that rental. That's kind of
we'll get to the couch eventually.
To get myself going and best prepare the way for future staff. It's kind of like if you build it, they will come kind of thing. So like in 2018, we had the opportunity to move out of the building we were in, which was a very big warehouse. I can't remember. You became available?
Yeah. So 2018, they did some shifting again, and I was let go from the church.
Yeah.
And all in good favor and everything. So like, I still volunteer there like crazy.
He actually put Miralax in his department head's coffee.
No, at the time I worked under Andrew Stone. So I was there for about two or 3 years working under Andrew Stone. And I did audio and video too. And
audio wise, what did you do?
Whatever Jesse told me to do.
What's funny is Jesse's now one of our employees.
It's true. Yeah.
I was like, keep training him up, Church on the Move. I'm coming to get him.
Yeah. And a lot of radio programming. That's fun, but.
Oh, so as far as like the Motorola's.
Yeah, radio.
Yeah, thank you for not calling them walkie freaking talkies. Mm-hmm. They're radios.
Yeah, Christian knows all about that as well. So.
Right. And it's funny, then a lot of those radios would come out to Christmas tree too.
They've actually, since I've worked here, they tried to get me a couple times to actually go back and help them out with those. I was like, no.
Yeah. Let me think about it.
No, money's not worth it.
That's amazing. Oh, and video wise, were you working with Andrew Swan?
Yeah, Andrew Swan at the time. And worked with him. He showed me a lot of the like video aspects of it. Like I did editing for so the videos that they put of the church on video on YouTube. So I edited those at the end of the day. So
that was never on your resume.
No.
Oh, wait a minute. You never applied.
I did not apply.
Well, because I've been interviewing you your entire dang life, and that's just how I roll. You've always been a very adaptable human being, very, very friendly, super easygoing. I think you come from a great family. Everybody's like super chill, kind of happy go lucky, but also you work your butt off. You say you're going to be somewhere at a time, you're always there. So super consistent, super committed. Dear Lord, I'm going to shed a tear, but you know when you that you no longer had full-time employment. That's you had a run of high school, Dry Gulch, then finding work again at the church.
Yeah.
Now that's gone.
Yeah, that's gone now. Well, yeah. Well, I still do some work here and there, but
just doing like freelance, whether it's like drone work, photography, whatever it was. Were you volunteering at that time?
So I started volunteering in 2018.
Okay, gosh, hey,
yeah,
great year. Oh, great, the DJs are rehearsing. If this is your first time tuning in, we share a building.
If we stop talking, you can hear.
Yeah, like we got to keep talking so we don't get turned off by YouTube for copyright violations.
It's true. So yeah, actually not my coworker, but my roommate at the time, he actually worked at the church, and he's like, "Hey Matt, you're not doing anything anymore. Come on, help me, come volunteer with me or something like that." So he built a photography team at the church, and so I joined up with that, take pictures of like social media and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And then so yeah, I still do that to this day.
Because it wasn't like a big thing. No, every church has a social media team now, but then it was kind of a new thing for a lot of people.
Yeah,
everybody's using stock photography and stuff like that. But funny, I don't know how I heard it. I kind of heard it through the grapevine that you were available, and like without even hesitating, I knew I needed help here in some capacity. But the big thing was I was getting ready to move, and gave you a call. Also called another former drug dealer. Yeah, good old Danny Freeman. So again, super reliable, and we just like on a Saturday. Moved into this building with just our cars, no moving truck whatsoever, just as much as my Subaru, your truck, and his whatever without the child seats in the back. Yeah.
It's actually, that's the whole reason why he asked for me, because I had a truck.
Oh, that's great. But man, and then realizing like, well, this space had to be prepared beforehand before we even moved. And so what did you do to help us get the space ready?
You asked me to lay carpet, so we moved into, well, you probably already know this, but we moved into like what used to be a school. So like all the carpet had to be ripped out, and like it was disgusting.
Yeah, full disclosure, we are in those first 3 rooms for those who care to know. This used to be a school for pregnant teens, and that was built in I think in 2008. The program, I forgot when the program got shut down, but our offices are actually the WIC offices. So that carpet, it was purple. And it'd be black. It was nasty. I think I took a rug doctor to that twice, and the water was just like ink coming out. So if you're vomiting right now, sorry.
Lots of gloves.
Two hands on the wheel, please.
Yeah.
But yes, you guys paint. It's funny. I was looking at pictures of it today just to get some of the memories back, and you guys painted it ours kind of signature avocado, green, and then rip that nasty carpet out, and we found some. I think what else did you end up doing?
Actually, to take what happened after that was I painted carpet, and then the owner of the building, actually, his name is Jason. I actually, before completely working for Steven, I actually worked for him, continuing to lay carpet, and
I forgot. Yeah, and painting. Because we just like my biggest thing was like just keep your hand to the plow, keep generating some form of income for you. I've always believed kind of like an idle hand is like the devil's workshop, just stay busy, stay doing stuff, obviously productive, paying your bills because you got rent and all that stuff to, so you have financial obligations that, and you didn't come back. I didn't really have you come back very often.
No, it was like once a day or once a week or something like that.
Yeah, very, very minimal.
Once or twice, yeah.
I mean, shoot, I was at, I think, USITT, and then another time I was at the Podfest, and I was having my wife fulfill rentals because, you wouldn't have been available at that time. But we hit the summer.
Yeah.
And the summer, something kind of changed. I remember it's funny that summer we get hit up by like Baysides by for some pretty significant like summer time rental stuff. But we also had Jordan Williams with us, an intern, and you were here with him on on a pretty daily basis. And then come October of 2018, I was like, you know what, Matt, I think. I was paying you as a contractor and all that stuff. I was like, I think now's the time for you to be, if you want to be our official employee. Again, no application.
Yeah,
nothing. No resume. I kind of already knew it anyway, but
you're like, here, you're hired. Here's a key.
Yeah. And more or less, that's kind of what happened. Here's a key and a credit card.
Yeah.
Gosh, I obviously where we're at now, micro rentals wise and systems wise. Talk about some of the things that when you first came on. Well, first of all, let me think about this. What made you cool with just being here?
I knew everybody, so for the most part, not for the most part, but I really knew everybody. So it was just a friendly, I hang out with all the guys already, so it's like, why not keep coming? So
yeah, especially, you knew Jordan, you knew me. Of course, that was easy. And then what about the, what of course you could, this is hindsight, I guess, is because you have your experience like our systems now. What are some of the, talk through the way we used to book rentals, please. And
so, first of all, let me say, I pretty much knew nothing about like the gear we rented out.
I forgot to mention that.
Yeah, like even though I worked in audio, like there wasn't like I worked with radio, ham radio, radios most of the time.
If I told you what a 58 was, and if I said, "Hey, grab me a 58," at that time,
I still look stuff up when you ask me to tell you.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, like. Can you grab like let's say a DM6, and it's like, what's a DM6? I have to go and look it up real fast. And so I use the website to figure out what stuff is still. Yes. Okay.
That's awesome. But what's really cool is your way, it was our way of doing stuff. It became your way of doing stuff. So it's not like you came in here with your own set of, this is how I'm going to do this, how I'm going to do that. No, you do the Mike Reynolds way.
So when I first started here, I was helping fulfill rentals. And a lot of it was like, hey, we had a website, but it wasn't the best, but
it sucked.
Yeah.
Okay.
So whenever a rental would get placed, we'd have to go walk into the next room and see if we even had what we could send you. So we had a general idea, but
he ain't lying.
No. So it's like, if we didn't have it, like, Steven, we gotta buy this. Or find somewhere to get it.
Totally the definition of fake it till you make it.
Yep. And then we'd and the entire calendar, to keep track of where all the gear was just Google Calendar.
We had this Google Calendar, and it was all based upon all the FedEx zones were the colors of the Google Calendar. So if they're in zone 1, it was green. Yeah. Zone 2, it was blue. Zone 3 is
zones
orange.
Are based on how many days it would take you to get there. If you don't know, confused by what Steven's saying by zones. So like zone 3 would be like 3 days, zone 2 would be 2 day, and then zone 1 would be 1 day.
Would you remember what yellow is?
Currently, yellow is used for rentals that haven't been processed yet.
That's what's funny is it's there's areas in Alaska and Hawaii that are technically 7 days, and you can actually ship ground to Hawaii.
It just takes a while.
It goes on a plane eventually, but yes, it does take a long time.
So yeah, if your rental it still says pending right now or on hold or whatever, it hasn't been processed
Matt's
yet,
fault.
and it's still yellow so on the calendar.
And it's funny, the job title. It wasn't like, "Hey, your job title is this." It's just like whatever Steven told you to do.
Whatever is needed at the time.
Whatever is needed at the time, and you found yourself on a daily basis on
a couch in your office.
On a couch, and that's right. That couch, oh my word, that was like the anxiety depression couch.
I didn't actually have a desk until when I say I didn't have a desk, I didn't officially have a place to sit down and work like on other stuff other than
like
rental.
An 8-foot table in fulfillment.
Yeah, that was it. So like I got hired on in August of 2018. I didn't have a desk till probably about like late 2019 or something like that. It was about a year.
I put you on like official W-2 payroll in October. Yeah. But you're right. I was contracting you pretty regularly as I was like, man, just keep coming in.
Yeah. So yeah, my official when I would sit down to work, it would be at a couch in front of Steven's desk, basically.
That's too funny. Now, some of the stuff that
me and Jordan Williams.
That's right. Some of the stuff and our shipping was pretty interesting. We don't. I don't want to call out what we were using before necessarily, but
so yeah, the process on that was like once we got the gear all together, we'd check it out. We'll check it, make sure it's properly working, and then go and box it up. But then we'd have to create our shipping labels and also keep track. We didn't actually have a great tracking system for gear and everything, so it was just like a spreadsheet basically, like all the serial numbers of what went on that rental.
What we're saying is you could have stole some stuff from Mike Reynolds back in 2018.
There's be no way of knowing.
2019, yeah. And we were
stuff did get stolen.
You were screen share. You was basically screen sharing a PC that was on my desk so you could print all the packing.
Oh yeah, so like we didn't actually have a printing computer. It was just a computer on Steven's desk that we screen shared to even get access to creating labels for shipping.
That's unreal, man.
So if we had to use it, Steven couldn't use his computer for a couple seconds.
So you guys done yet?
Yeah.
But hey, and stuff. We moved into 2019. You being here allowed me to go to NAMM, go to I think I went back to a Podfest or something. I'm not sure I went back to USITT, but it allowed me to go to those places, not really worry about stuff not being fulfilled and whatnot. There's obviously we're learning curves we were using a lot of ground services then, which were a lot more reliable than they are now. That was pre-COVID.
Yeah.
So the rate of successful delivery, just e-commerce obviously has exploded since COVID. But we had to eventually have an interesting conversation one day, and I'll never forget your face because you were worried about telling me, and it wasn't the greatest of news for me, but you ended up applying for another job.
Yeah, I was asked to go back to Church on the Move to apply for a job, and so I did that, and it didn't really work out, but is whatever.
Yeah, that's good
news for Steven.
It was good news for me. Yeah, and you also applied at another place too.
Yeah, Southwest.
That's right.
As luggage.
Sorry, Southwest. I got Matt Lewis. But it's funny. I wanted to speak about that for a minute, especially for anybody who's listening who has to hire people and try to keep people and all this other stuff. Where it was really hard to hear. So on the outside, I was like, man, great. Thanks for letting me know. And I walked away. I was like, oh my God. It was hard. I went to talked to one of my business partners about it, and I was like, man, we gave him a job, we didn't have a job, and all this other stuff, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, man, you can't do that. I was like, what are you talking about? I want him. It's like, you can't. And I realized, I was like, well, you can be one of two things. You can be a launching pad for people, but you can be a final destination only if that's where they want to land. And if, you want to prepare people for whatever next step they are going to take, and just maybe in life, maybe whether it's professionally or not, but just prepare them. Like, you're going to be a better person whenever your time comes to move on from us or whatever. You're going to be a better person by being here for 6 years versus like you walk out and you're like, it's like you being here and all of a sudden you can't read, or something like that. They're going to be like, man, it's going to increase your value is what I'm trying to say. So, I think don't worry about when people are going to go, if they're going to go. Just continue to encourage them and improve, help them with their personal growth. If you're obviously in your church, definitely their spiritual growth. So when they walk away, when I walked away from Dry Gulch, I was better. Gosh, when I came back in 2007 from my second run, the 2 years, I was a ton of character building, ton of personal growth, ton of spiritual growth. So when I came back there, I could easily ask for a way different salary than what I got before, because I was more of a leader than I ever was, or I had just changed in daily habits and things like that. But something I had to get past is like, hey, if Church on the Move takes him, that's where he needs to be. If Southwest takes him, I would hate them and never fly with them ever again. but that's where you need to be, and I had to be fine and at peace with that, and that just would be under control. What's amazing. I think you told me that something didn't work out. I checked in on it, and secretly on the inside, I was thrilled to death, because that's what I wanted. But if it didn't work out that way, it would have been fine.
He gave me bad references.
Yeah. There's always going to be. It's just like with our rentals. When they cancel, there's always going to be another rental. There's always going to be someone there waiting in the wings. So not to freak out and let that like completely derail you. So or derail. When I say derail you, I'm talking about if you have employees or have staff at all, or even considering your first employee. Because one thing you don't realize when you sign up to hire is you end up becoming a little bit of everything else. Like you can be a grief counselor because you've experienced loss.
Yeah.
A couple of times, at least 3, if I can remember.
I believe so.
Yes, you can experience family issues. You can experience just health issues, just things that you don't think you're signing up for. But all I can say to any like business owner out there is that you need to prepare for that. If you're not ready for that, it's going to really, really, really shock you. And I encourage you, honestly, to lead with your heart and not necessarily your head. Not everything's dollar and cents. You can't value people on a dang spreadsheet. You need to actually get to know people. I've lucked out, and that's one of the big privilege of knowing you for as long as I have. It's like I already know Matt Lewis. I know what makes him tick. And there's been times where I've had to, gosh, we can skip all the way to like 2020, right? When you and I went to Passion.
Passion, yeah.
Yeah, we're spending 12 hours in a car with one another.
That's true.
You learn a lot by other people's driving.
I hate driving in the city. It's terrible.
I was like, I'll take over.
Yeah.
But man, it was great because we got to be there. We got to talk a lot and just find a little bit more about the stuff I didn't know about you, and then obviously just take in what Passion was going to throw at us.
And get kicked out of seating areas that we weren't supposed to be in. Apparently,
that's definitely a story for when I come up to 2020. But we added. Of course, we lost Andrew Stone in 2019, and then Jesse Burr came along.
Yeah.
And that was, do you remember anything about that when we added a new full-time employee?
So he took over. Gosh, not really. So it's kind of like Blur 2020 a little bit.
He had to learn our
System,
way,
yeah.
our system, right? And it's not like he knows audio stuff. He's brilliant.
He's definitely a source of information.
To this day for all of us, you know, there's just stuff that you just ask him, and it's like he seems to know about it when it comes to like audio related stuff.
Yeah.
And Jesse's also been a friend of mine for 25 years.
So what I lacked, Jesse made up for.
Yeah, and you know, it's funny. That's the thing. Jim Collins talks about putting the right people on the bus but also in the right seat. It's just like, well, just who you allow on that dang bus.
Yeah.
Is it going to be my word? That's like the buses I was in high school. We're picking up people from all parts of the city or whatever, and there's going to be fights.
Yeah.
So I was like, well, one thing is because you kind of already knew him. You knew who he was. Obviously, I knew he was, and there was obviously not just the love, but also a trust there as well.
Yeah.
Like I don't think he's going to contaminate what we've worked hard to just us to establish. And felt like he fit in really well. Obviously, I think logistics were very new to him.
Yeah.
You know, he's always on the end user side, on the receiving side, but as far as like the sending, but then also the customer service side.
Yeah.
Because when you're in production, what's the word you're used to saying to people?
No.
I didn't even tell you I was going to ask that question, right? That is 100%.
Well, my job in events was a lot of being a yes man kind of thing. I didn't really have a choice. It was like, hey, this need to be put together. And I was like, all right, I'll go and do it. Then, yeah. So that was fun.
That's great. No, it's funny. I didn't even know that. I just knew you would. You started to see some of the effort we were putting into, you know, something would not come back and was like, crap, I'm just going to have to buy one and send them a new one. And then we're going to have to eat it and get it back and add it to our inventory.
Yeah.
We still do that.
We still do that.
Today.
Yeah. Especially during Christmas.
Last week.
And Easter.
So having him see that was like the biggest thing. It's just like we could talk till we're blue in the face, but him starting to see who we were serving too. You know, I remember Christmas of 2018. You were like, hey, did you book like 11 $40.99s for?
This was before we actually had like a actual accounting system. So
right, no inventory way to track inventory.
Manually.
Did you? And I was like, yeah. Elevation called. I said we could totally do it. She's like, yeah, we're gonna be short like 6.
Yep.
And I was like, I didn't look at. I looked at when rentals were going out, but not when they were like
coming back
in.
Yep.
So I thought, I was like, okay, hey, no worries. I'll call DPA and order some more. And they were out of stock. So good old Sweetwater.
Yep.
I was like, I had to pay full retail. And that was so, oh my gosh, that was so much. I was like maybe 6,000. It was expensive.
These may have done that once or twice.
It was expensive. Yeah, of course, when I do it, I'm like, okay, I'll figure out how I'm going to afford this and explain it off later.
Yep.
But
gotta make it happen.
Yes, yeah. Because the one thing is like that's not their problem.
No,
I ain't gonna call them as like, hey, I
promised you something that we don't have.
Yeah, and we're early on in our relationship with a lot of churches, not just with them, and so it mattered. Those first few matter more than any others, and of course the rest are very important as well to keep the relationship going. You never know, you don't want doubt to ever end up in anybody's mind that their rental's going to get there or not get there.
Yeah.
One of our big, team player principles is being communicative. So like we're constantly checking in with people on stuff, and making them feel like, the one thing we didn't have though at the time was a confirmation that you actually placed an order.
It's true.
Do you remember that?
Yeah.
We had to manually push that out. It was just like, this is ridiculous.
Yeah. Now I believe it's an email, and also we still manually push out a text. So.
That's good. So one of the you probably don't see too many companies use the texting platform like we do.
Yeah.
Like as far as being able to, hey, you're gonna the people's eyeballs are seeing this, and we could be at home on the weekend, and somebody's going to see it. Somebody's going to respond at some point.
If you don't want to send an email, just shoot us a text.
Yeah, please. If it's hopefully it's more of an importance, but we kind of perform triage at that point. It's like, do I need to ruin my weekend to go? Fly down to Houston.
There's a story one time. We had a customer, I guess he received his rental, but he was missing a pack or something like that, a wireless pack. And I live about 20 minutes away or something like that. So I got all the way home, and as soon as I pulled into the driveway, I got a text from Steven and said, hey, this guy's missing something. Can you take care of it? I was the only employee at the time, and so I drove all the way back to the office, and I did basically a run through the office to see if I could find the pack, but could not find the pack. So I went ahead and sent up another one, drove down to the airport, shipped it off, and sure enough, whenever it came back, both packs came back. So just kind of a missing pack on their end. But yeah, that's how dedicated we are. So about 40-minute drive to about almost an hour, basically.
Yeah, and the stuff happens on the weekends, and we get it.
Yeah.
We totally get it. But it's not every single weekend that's happening. So we enter into something like 2020, and we talk about let's jump kind of way forward for a second to now. What's different now? There's a lot of differences. So go for it. You've seen everything.
Yeah.
Other than the 3 years before you got here. What do you see now?
So the big difference now is that we actually have an inventory system that actually tracks all of our assets and everything. So, and shipping, all that kind of stuff is completely done differently now.
Yeah.
It actually prints out a packing slip, so we don't have to take care of enter into a spreadsheet anymore. But yeah, that's two of the biggest things that has changed. So
is it still just you, me, and Jesse?
No, not anymore. So that's another thing that's changed. We have about 3 other people now. So
yeah,
3 or 4.
A few more.
Yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm. One not here in Oklahoma.
Right. Yeah, we have one remote employee. I boast that I stole somebody from DPA. Sorry. Sorry, not sorry. But as different people, and we've had another person be here, and they were here for a season, and they went. Mm-hmm. One thing, and I'll tell you this, that everybody even just before COVID, we were training somebody I would thought that would be a great fit for us, and then COVID happened, and they had to go back home, and they're still down there.
Yeah, but
it's just kind of
a guy going to college or something like that.
Charleston.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So you've had to more or less train almost everybody that has come through the building.
We've had a guy from a local church come in and work for us for about a year or so, and then went back to his home church.
Yeah, it's just a season where he needed to be away, and they needed to figure their stuff out.
Yep.
And then the time was right. It's funny. I believe because of being around us, he left here a better person.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I know he did, because we I know he was getting grilled or challenged by somebody, but it was all done. It was all done out of love.
Yeah. He is now promoted to a customer. So
very good. Very, very good.
He's now our boss. So
that is 100% correct. Man, I know we could talk forever. Is there any big, I don't know, rental moment or some moment that kind of sticks out to you, or something that we've done here?
Not so much big rental related stuff, but just as how we care about our rentals that sticks out. For instance, we've sent stuff out that got totally trashed on the way there or something like that, by FedEx or UPS, and then customer contacting us is hey, we can't use this because it was trashed basically. So what we did was we sent out a replacement, overnight replacement, and then they got to their gear exactly when they needed it and everything. But yeah, that's just something we do. So, I know the music in the background.
This is hard, especially when it was like it's like a little John or Usher.
I'm trying to talk over it. So
let's keep this going.
Talk and think at the same time. But yeah, I can't pause because we get probably a copyrighted strike because of music in the background.
It's like, what did you say to the customer? Yeah.
Yeah.
Lord. Oh my goodness. But I'm glad you see that, and it has to be done. And because we talk about it till we're blue in the face, but you got to put your money where your mouth is.
We've also done some high end customers too, though. Probably can't say, or at least I can't anyway. But.
Yeah, again, because we don't want anybody to get misled that we're just doing it for a big name or a big tour or something like that. And we've been very cautious to how we talk about that. And anyway, because we. Even when we've done that, you've seen a big influx of inventory.
Yeah.
Oh my word. The room that you started doing rentals in.
Yeah, it was like literally like an 8x8 room.
It's like 13 by 13. Come on, man. It wasn't that small.
It was small.
Right.
Yeah.
And now we're in a room that's like 6 times the size of that rental room.
Exactly.
And when you got here, that was everything.
Yes, it was everything. And then it turned into just the wireless room.
Yeah.
And then now it's just office space. But yeah.
Right. And obviously all this stuff that's, behind us.
It was all in that room.
It was.
For the most part.
Well, for the most part. Let's just say 10% of all this was in that room. So it's a more comfortable space. I know we're getting we're getting tired of DJs rehearsing while we're playing. So
I will say one thing. It's kind of so DJ Connections hires people occasionally, and they give them a grand tour of the building and everything. So it's funny too because each time that they change the story up and we just get bigger and bigger.
Yeah,
but
I think somebody says a $2 million rental.
Yeah, it's the story goes is they started as church with serving church production and everything, and now they do these amazing.
Yeah, we sold out the church for $2 million.
Yeah, we do these awesome tours and all that kind of stuff. It's no, we still serve the churches and everything. So
that is correct. What do you enjoy about that? What talk to me about, because I know that means a lot to you.
So yeah, one thing from working from events at the church, what I kind of did was once the event got started and everything, I just kind of got to sit back and just see all the people come through and they were engaged in something that you put together kind of thing. So that's the same thing kind of here. You put together the rental and then, so all the different people that use us are affected by what we do here. So
is there a customer that you use whose name you see more often than over the years, not just recently? Do you see them as consistent?
Yeah, for sure. We there's one customer that I guess they operate a podcast as well, and they always rent the I think it's the 2005
USB
mic.
baby.
Yep.
Yeah. Did a review on that sucker.
They rent those constantly. So
that's
every other probably a couple weeks is a new rental from them or something like that. But yeah,
that's great.
And then
man.
Of course we have a couple of other church people that recognize the name, down in Texas. And
but you're also seeing new people. Probably what 5 to sometimes 10 a week. How does that make you feel when you see just new people, other than having to vet them really quick?
Yeah, those overnight rentals are.
Sure, I know they're tricky.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's you get a new church. It's my favorite thing is if they are a church, you get to go to their website and just kind of check out. We've seen some pretty cool different this church designs.
Yeah,
and they're pretty comical in some of them. For instance, you highlight over a picture and the picture changes to a goofy photo of them or something.
I know we should do a website rating for church website rating.
Best church website.
That's
maybe
good.
We'll see.
That's good.
But yeah.
Well, man, I know we celebrated you being here for 6 years in October, and I hope that turns into 12. But no pressure. Well,
through all the ups and downs, stolen trucks, and all that kind of stuff.
Right. Yeah, you've been very
Some interesting stories.
very consistent. A reason why I wanted to highlight you is because all the online rentals that you're processing, that you're more or less booking them into the system, double checking that. Did Steven book these? And we were all out of them.
Do we have these? Yeah.
Correct. And they don't get to see you. They might hear from you on an email.
Yeah.
You're trying to get a license or a COI or something like that.
Usually if you get a text message that says, "Congratulations, your rental has been processed," that's from me. Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. So you can reply back "Thanks, Matt.
Yeah.
Appreciate it." But man, you just always your love for Dr. Pepper. And he actually has an IV of Dr. Pepper.
I almost had one on the desk here, but I was like, I was promised Dr. Pepper, but I was like, nah.
Just in case we say something, and
big Dr. Pepper fan here. So.
Yeah, that's great, man. But I just love and appreciate you, everything you stand for, and you come from a great family, and I'm so glad you're part of our family. Thanks. I know this was different for you.
Yeah.
You're not anxious to get behind a mic in front of a camera, but just wanted to, whatever you do. The Bible says whatever you do in secret will be made known, and just and this is the good way of just honoring you, and thank you for being a part of this and being willing to jump on there and hang out. So thanks so much for having us.
One more thing.
Yeah,
I need to put in my 2 weeks.
Oh, you son of a gun!
Hey, thank you so much for watching this. Just remember, you can use the code RENT15 anytime, get 15% off your next order. Thank you so much for coming. Make sure to like, subscribe, and ring that bell if that's something you do. I don't do it, but see you next time.